hasn't. 837, the Hip Hop Caucus, which has been around since 2004, has made its mission connecting the hip hop community to the civic process to create positive change.
That's right. And since we are thick into the presidential race, this is the time to make sure current and future voters are informed about their choices.
Yeah, we are joined this morning by the president and CEO of the caucus, the Reverend Lennox Yearwood Jr. Reverend Yearwood, welcome.
Thank you for having
morning,
me. It's
Washington.
great to be here.
Yeah, so tell us about this. You know, anytime you get a chance to engage anybody in the political process, it's a good thing. Tell us about some of the strides you've made over these past 12 years.
I mean, it's been amazing. I mean, clearly I've had help. I've had some celebrities from Jay-Z, Russell Simmons, T.I., 2 Chainz, many others who lent their platform to getting engaged. But more importantly, I think it makes America stronger because the more people who are engaged, either black, white, rich, young, poor, doesn't matter. If you're engaged in the process, it makes our democracy better for our country.
I know that you were just saying in the commercial break you're in a lot of cities and a lot of college campuses, especially HBCUs around the country. I feel like in 2008 we saw a surge of youth voters. Are you seeing that again now, 8 years later?
Well, we are seeing it now. I mean, when we first really got started, I think in 2004 with Vote or Die, I don't know if we said that anybody for that Vote or Die t-shirt still.
Right.
But when we got started then to spread my vote, you know, we saw a surge. Now, part of the surge, I think, that a large population of the Hip Hop Caucus was African American. So I think they were excited about President Obama and other pieces, but I think even more so, they were excited about policy. I think that you've now seen that carried over. Criminal justice, climate change, education, economics, and so I think that we see a lot more young people pretty sharp, and not particularly millennials. There are more millennials now who want to vote, probably almost 75% who want to vote in this election coming up.
Something I thought was interesting is you're talking about in terms of the vacant Supreme Court justice seat left by the death of Justice Scalia. And you were saying, again, educating people in terms of what this means. It's not so much who you put in, but the character and the qualifications of that individual. I
think that's so right. I'll say this too. You know, I'm here in D.C., and one thing when I go around the country, people want to see this Senate particularly do their job. It's discouraging. Young people don't understand why we just can't do our jobs, depending on what your position may be. At least hold the hearings, do the vote. But I think that when we see Supreme Court, people understand that that's one of the key parts of our democracy. You know, the legislative branch, the judicial branch, the Supreme Court, and then obviously from all aspects of the office, from the president's office, can imply in this process. So I would say that what we're seeing now for the Supreme Court is that we're pushing a campaign called Supreme Justice, in which we're encouraging young people of color to, one thing, know about why the Supreme Court should go forth. Things from Roe v. Wade to Broadway Board of Education, Plessy v. Ferguson, but even more importantly, what it means for them right now regarding their issues regarding voting rights to carry forth.
Quickly, is it a teaching moment for them? When I saw on ABC's This Week on Sunday that it's 17 times a president has nominated a Supreme Court justice in his final year in office, 5 times in the 20th century. So this is constitutional. Is it a teaching moment for these students to say this is how the process works?
This is how the process works. You know, it's funny when you say that. When we grew up, a lot of us older people, we grew up with Schoolhouse Rocks. So you grew up with I'm Only a Bill, I'm Sitting on Capitol Hill. I mean, this clearly is a teachable moment for this generation. But even more importantly, it's a critical moment for our country. If we continue to obstruct the process and get in the way of what can move things forth and have a Supreme Court that's hanging in the balance, it's 4-4, that literally can't make decisions, it hurts the entire process. And so that's why young people want to say, listen, get out and vote, make things happen, and make sure our democracy is strong.
Yeah. Real quick before we let you go, what's your message to young voters out there who may be voting for the first time this fall?
Yeah, I mean, listen, make sure you vote. Your vote is personal. This is personal. Make sure you get out there and make sure understand that people died for you to vote. People died for you to make sure your voice can be heard, and don't ever, ever give that away.
Okay. All right, Reverend Yearwood, thank you.
That's right. Yeah, the Hip Hop Caucus, that's right. So thanks again for all you do around the country. Appreciate that.